Welcome to my video where we're going to discuss how I was able to transform my two-handed backhand from this weird, awkward, rubbish-looking technique to this technique that is far more coordinated and that actually works. Obviously, this video isn't just about you watching me improve my backhand. I want to show you the methods I use because how I went about improving this stroke will certainly help everyone that's watching to improve their two-handed backhand. The first thing I did was to sign up for video analysis. As many of you will know, I provide video analysis for players around the world. People send me videos, I give them advice, and it works. So I figured maybe it'll work for my two-handed backhand. The coach that's helping me with this project is called Slavi. You may have seen him on my channel, and he actually helps me with my video analysis. If ever I'm wanting a second opinion, I'll send my clients' videos to him, and the advice he usually gives is brilliant.
Okay, you don't have as much space to work with on the two-handed backhand, and you don't have as much maneuverability. So the two-handed backhand is all about blocking power. If you're not using blocking power in a two-hander, you might as well be using a one-hander. If you want a lot of topspin, if you want a lot of rocket head speed, you need to have a one-hander. If you want to be able to withstand really hard serves, if you want control, if you want stability, replicability, consistency, you want a two-handed backhand. So make sure that you're leaning on the strengths of the two-hander.
Now you may be wondering why, as a tennis coach, I need another tennis coach to give me ideas on how to hit a two-handed backhand. Don't I know how to hit one? Well, it's a lot easier for me to help other people to hit a two-handed backhand than it is for me to analyze my own stroke. And when I get on court, I usually have 20 different things going through my head. It's crazy up there. And I'm trying all sorts of things. So having a coach who can say, this is what I think you need to work on, and point me in the right direction, first of all, keeps me disciplined. But secondly, naturally, he sees things in my shot that I don't see from my own perspective. We're going to start out by watching Slavi's analysis of my two-handed backhand.
You need a lot more agency with your left foot, left leg, left hip. You can see it's just hanging in the air and you're just balancing on the right leg.
And then I'm going to show you the things I've been working on, what I've been experiencing out there, and the things that really help to get things to click. What really helped me to transform my backhand so that out there, I actually feel comfortable hitting the shot.
I'm going to start actually with the legs. So we're going to go into your first video from the sides front angle. And I'm going to be looking at the leg work. So what I'm noticing, first of all, is that yes, there is some bending in the legs, but for example, this specific shot here, the right leg is really straight coming into the shot. That's not necessarily a problem if you're finishing the shot that way, but if we go a couple frames forward, it's pretty straight at contact. And then what usually happens is this left leg on the backside kind of just swings out, and it's a little bit irrelevant when it comes to facilitating your kinetic wave and making sure that the weight is transferred, the kinetic energy is transferred up the chain and into the upper body and into eventually the racket. So what you want to do instead with that is you want to anchor the left foot. All right. So let's see if you do any kind of anchoring here. So you want to basically leave the left foot a little bit there, maybe not have as much of a closed stance to begin with. So it's easier to kind of touch the toes of the left foot down onto the ground and keep them there. And the upper body is going to feel like it's twisting, but what's going to do is it's going to transfer some of that energy into your upper body. And the more energy you have into your upper body, the more stable the shot's going to be. And you want to make sure you're bracing against the ground, utilizing blocking power. Okay. Yeah, you can see how instead of anchoring and maybe like unvelcroing that left foot and helping push with the left hip into the shot, it's basically being dragged away. So it's more of a counterbalance type of energy that you're creating, but it's not bracing against the ground to fully implement that energy into your backhand. So this is a much better stance, but again, the left foot is already disconnected from the ground by contact. You can see it's already up on the toe. So you want to be in this position after contact. So you want to slowly step off. So this portion of the shot here, if you watch the left foot down here, so you want the left foot to be doing this action as you're hitting. So the arms need to actually be going by this point. They need to be already close to contact point. And then your left foot is going to be pushing instead of just removing weight. It's going to be pushing weight into the shot, okay? If you want to do a weight transfer like this. So that's about the leg. You need a lot more agency with your left foot, left leg, left hip. You can see it's just hanging in the air and you're just balancing on the right leg. So that's number one. Okay, number two is we got to talk about that arm, right? So if you are hitting a lefty forehand and you saw yourself in this position here, what would you say to yourself? You know, how are you supposed to hit a forehand with your left arm if you ignore the right arm? How are you supposed to hit a good forehand from that position right there? It's not going to happen. If you're coming in like this, we criticize people for hitting forehands like this all the time, right? With their arm locked out, the elbow locked, the front shoulder popping out, also locked. And whenever the shoulder is popped out of the socket, it can't turn, all right? So if this is the ball of the shoulder, if it's out here, all the tendons and muscles are stretched out and it can't rotate very well, okay? And it's weak. But if it's in there, it's able to utilize the muscles to rotate, make adjustments, pronate, supinate. Although some people don't like to use the pronate, supinate terminology for the shoulder rotation. So anyway, just rotate your shoulder in there, okay? And then let's look at the arm, right? You can see how the left arm is really locked out. Look at the left arm position. So not only is the left heel up and already removed all kind of weight, now you have the left elbow locked and the shoulder out in front, out of your socket. And now it becomes basically, you know, a left wrist slap. If it wasn't for the right hand assisting, that's what it would be. It would be a left wrist slap. The other thing is, you look at how much you struggle on the follow through, right? So if you're looking somebody like Agassi or any kind of, we've been watching Agassi videos, you know, lately. So if you look at anybody that's got a great backhand, this is not the position they'll be at coming into the finish of the shot. The body is not quite turned enough because there's no power through the left leg and the left hip. The body is not facing your target, okay? So look at what this finish looks like. It's basically a forced finish just with the arm and the hands, but the body's not facing that way. Your shoulders try to turn, but the hips are lagging way too much. And this twist can happen, but it should happen all the way when the hips straighten out like this. Okay, so the hips basically need to straighten out, and now you can do the body twist after on the finish to elongate the finish if you need to. So this position should happen, you know, a lot earlier. This is one of the better ones, but still very much a forced finish and non-active, non-agency left leg, left hip. And then trying to catch the balance afterwards. Like again, I don't have any beef with catching balance. I just wish that you would use body weight more into your back, and especially blocking power, bracing that left leg against the ground instead of just lifting the heel and removing it from all responsibility. We want more responsibility on the left leg. This angle here between your hip and your shoulder, and then from the hip to the knee, you can exaggerate that. You can exaggerate. So by having a wider distance between the feet, you can actually make sure that you can exaggerate this angle and the elbows can fit into that corner that you're creating with the body. Let's see if the other shots have a little bit of better. So this one doesn't have it at all, right? Whenever you straighten out the right leg, you don't have any kind of movement here. I realize that's a high ball, but even on a high ball, when you're loading up for it, you should have more of an angle here. The take back is not bad. Like, yes, this angle should be more, but the take back, the position of the racket is actually pretty good. You have your shoulder nice and turned, you have your neck turned, looking at the ball and expecting it. That's fine. You're about to step in with the right leg. So the preparation is actually something that I like. But just after the prep is when it goes a little bit weird here. When you start dropping the racket, pulling the body up and back, and then relying on a slap rather than just powering through with your left leg, hip, and then holding that blocking power with the left arm and being able to go over the ball and overpower the right arm through the contact. So hope that helps a little rundown of what I think of your backhand, and I want to see some progress. All right, peace.
Pretty good stuff, right? I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you got out of that. If there was something he said that really stood out to you as being interesting or helpful, let me know in the comment section below. For a special offer for people watching this video, if you sign up for my video analysis program and you want Slava to get involved, I will personally pay him to analyze your videos. So once you've signed up, just write to me and say, I want Slava to be involved. He will be. So the first thing that stood out to me was I need to focus more on my body. I've been very fixated on what the arms do because I know they get locked out. I hate this kind of position. I hate how jammed I am. And I've been changing grips. I've been trying to be loose with my hands, been trying to bow my right wrist, been trying to do a lot of stuff. I'm very fixated on the arms. But what I'm feeling when I start trying to implement Slava's adjustments is that by focusing on the legs and focusing more on what this back leg is doing, it allows me to keep my arms in a more comfortable position and just rotate my body. Having said that, it is a real challenge to not have my left arm lock out. So what I did when I first got on court was to start mid-court and really prioritize not straightening the left arm. Like I made that the number one focus. I didn't care about anything else. Keep this left arm bent and hit the tennis ball. And it's important for everyone learning a new skill that you really prioritize. Why can't I say that word properly? Prioritize whatever it is you're trying to do. Because if I'm trying to keep my arm bent, but I'm also trying to like hit amazing topspin winners, it's not going to happen. So I'm just focusing on keeping this left arm in a bent position and striking the tennis ball. And as you can see, I'm stood in the middle of the court going 10, 15, 20% power, just getting that feeling. In part 2, I'm going to share with you a Zoom session that me and Slavi had where we analyzed my old backhand and my new backhand, my new and improved backhand that apparently isn't perfect yet. So I don't want to give you too many spoilers, but basically Slav is telling me that the way I think about the shot, the way I think about the two-handed backhand is pretty much wrong. I think about it a little bit more like a forehand where I'm throwing the racket out there and trying to generate racket speed. And I also think about it like a forehand or a serve in terms of having the body move in opposite directions. So when you're hitting a serve, top half rotates, bottom half goes back. Same sometimes on the forehand. With the backhand, I was doing the same thing. I've got the lower half going back as I throw out the arms. So what I tend to do is to get on my front foot a little bit too early and throw the arms out at it. But what tends to happen, like the serve, is this back leg goes back and works as a counterbalance. And then I'm really restricted on the follow through. So what Slav is helping me to experience is blocking power. And I've never thought about the shot being performed this way. And what it really means is you use your entire body. Like imagine you're not even going to move the racket any quicker than your body, and you can just rotate into the shot. There's going to be quite a lot of power if you can bring all the left side of the body through into the shot. As I get a little bit more comfortable with this and I can start relaxing, moving a little bit faster, I will start creating that lag and I'll get a little bit more racket speed. But I like the idea of moving totally away from what I was doing before and transforming my backhand by thinking about blocking power instead of racket speed and throwing. One thing I love about working with Slavi is he always has unique ideas and unique ways of getting his point across. Now, one thing he said here is unvelcroing the back foot off of the floor as you strike the ball. So for me, obviously, as he pointed out, I'm here throwing it. I got nothing left to rotate. So unvelcroing this back foot off the floor, coming into the strike. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Add some sound effects to this. Genius. But thinking about that, coming off of this back foot into the strike has really transformed my stroke. Because what is happening now is as I strike the ball, I still have energy left in the body to rotate through. So obviously, I knew the importance of using my legs in terms of the overall coordination chain, but I really wasn't piecing it all together and understanding how the legs can really influence the strike and the continuation of momentum all the way through the rest of the shot. But another thing I didn't take into consideration, and again, something I've not heard before, is how by bending your legs and creating this angle here, you can get the ball closer to you and still feel comfortable. When I'm like this, I'm already jammed. So creating a window for your arms to fit was a game changer. Now we're going to talk about this in part 2, but what I struggle with is high balls. Because as soon as it gets, this isn't that high. To me, it feels super high. I straighten out the body, straighten out the hips, lock out the shoulders. And what he wants me to do is keep this athletic posture and get comfortable just moving my arms here. So I keep this athletic shape and I use my arms. So we're going to talk about that in part 2, along with many other things. Make sure you comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon.